As far as me being a propagandist goes, everyone is a propagandist. I'm just honest about it. You're a propagandist. We have our biases.
I'm curious who you think I'm a propagandist
honest
for.
about my biases.
Who do you think I'm a propagandist?
It's insane for Hasan to say that. Now, to be clear, let me say a couple things. Propaganda is not bad, okay? Propaganda means that you're releasing news that's probably favorable to a certain side because you're trying to drum up support for that side. But propaganda can take all sorts of, shapes and forms. For instance, let's say that we have like a Navy, Top Gun. We could say Top Gun is propaganda, right? Something that shows our military in a good light, makes people want to go and fly planes, makes people want to join the military. Top Gun is absolutely propaganda for the US military. I think explicitly so. I think they ask the US military if they can use their planes, and I believe that part of the U.S. military agreement with films that want to do, films that want to have access to U.S. military equipment is you can't show the U.S. military in a bad light, right? So if you want to fly airplanes and shit, that's cool, but the story can't be about how like the president is trying to kill, civilians or whatever, right? Some shit like that. So in a way, it's propaganda. Propaganda is only bad when it's a lie, okay? And Hasan is using the lie version of propaganda here, that you're selectively telling certain facts to push a narrative. That is horrible. That is not good propaganda. And I don't like that all forms of propaganda are just kind of like taken and thrown together. It's like, oh, it's propaganda. Like, yeah, there's a difference between like a certain type of propaganda that just makes your side look good and like Russian propaganda that's showing Arma 3 footage or like lying or fabricating stories. Those are two totally different things. Hasan has been leaning into this quite a bit. Hasan has been leaning into this quite a bit. This idea that he just like does propaganda for his side and he doesn't have to like be honest or tell the facts exactly 100% correct because everybody else does it. It's very scary. It's the Russian version of how they do propaganda, where they say like, oh, well, we lie because everybody else lies. It's very, 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 very scary.
It's quite a charge to just say I'm a stenographer for the Israeli government or I'm a propagandist. I don't think there's any evidence I'm either of those things. I'm curious who you think I am doing
While
the
we're
propaganda
having this conversation, 3,000... Piers, while we're having this back and forth, 3,840 Palestinians have been ruthlessly slaughtered.
I look out for these types of conversational tactics so much now. Anytime I hear people do this, I very immediately start throwing up red flags. When you're refusing to engage with a question or you like pivot into weird stuff like this, or if you have an inability to directly and somewhat concisely answer a question, I immediately assume that you are functioning in bad faith and you're trying to sell me something different than what's factually correct. There's something else going on. Hasan does this a lot.
3,840 Palestinians have been ruthlessly slaughtered in the last incursion into Gaza. I feel like this is an incredibly selfish, self-centered conversation to have. You asked me to be on here. You wanted to hear my perspective. I'm willing to give it to you. I don't want to talk about I don't want to talk about Noam Chomsky style manufacturing consent conversations about
what even happened here. Also, has he never seen Piers Morgan before? This is a very standard Piers Morgan interview. We watched him do this to Tate, to Pearl, to everybody. This is just how Piers Morgan, there's a style of, I don't know if I would call it a British news style, but I feel like I see British people do this a lot, where it's very railroady. Like, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to ask you, this question, and you're going to answer this question because of this thing that I saw, right? It's very, and Piers has done this a few times in this conversation. It's like I don't know if it's a British style, but I feel like I see British interviewers do it a lot. There's probably some American interviewers do it, but Piers is very, very, very good at this style of conversation. I feel like Hasan should know that coming into this.
how the media is operating in the behest of capital.
You were the guy. Listen, you were the guy that called me.
There are dead people.
Listen, Hasan, I only asked you because you're the guy that called me a propagandist and called me a baboon in a suit. I was curious as to why. You don't want to say who I'm doing the propaganda for. We'll move on. I agree with you. There's a bigger picture here. Let's move on.
I love the Hasan laugh. That's my favorite thing I wish I could take from him. The Hasan laugh is so good.
Here's why this is actually an abject failure, and this is not just my perspective on the matter. I'm just a dumb idiot with a Twitch stream who is live reacting to the news and trying to make sense of everything.
I hate that abdication of responsibility. It is so cowardly. Bro, you make millions of dollars doing political commentary. The difference in our mindsets is so crazy. Like, I feel pretty bad when I get things wrong where I things up because I make so much money now doing this and I have so much influence. As silly or stupid as that sounds, as being just a YouTuber, but I mean, it's true. Like, there are so many people looking to you for guidance on these political takes. For you to like shirk all responsibility so that you can simultaneously make money being a political commentator while having none of the responsibility, it's like one of the grossest and most blatant like abdications of responsibility while still gaining all the benefits I've ever seen in my life. I hate that line. I don't know why he's been using it so much. He does it with Ethan too. Oh, we don't have any influence. Blah, blah, blah. God, I hate it. Oh, it's so cringe to me.
Actually an abject failure, and this is not just my perspective on the matter. I'm just a dumb idiot with a Twitch stream who is live reacting to the news and trying to make sense of everything as it's ongoing. I usually have a policy of not covering breaking news, and sometimes that policy is violated.
I'm pretty sure Hasan almost exclusively covers breaking news. Am I wrong about that? I feel like almost every time there's breaking stuff going on, you turn on Hasan's stream and it's like the title is whatever the breaking news is of the day. But that's an unbelievable statement.
But not covering breaking news, and sometimes that policy is violated, but ultimately I am not held up by the same journalistic standards, even though I think I do a much better job than most other news outlets in general. So let me just say this.
Yeah, there was like a 1,000 comment clip, I think, or a 1,000 comment thread when this exploded. Yeah. Wait, we'll do a live streamer reaction to Hasan saying that.
No. Here's why this is actually an abject failure, and this is not just my perspective on the matter. I'm just a dumb idiot with a Twitch stream who is live reacting to the news and trying to make sense of everything as it's ongoing. I usually have a policy of not covering breaking news, and sometimes that policy is violated, but ultimately I'm not held up by the same journalistic standards, even though I think I do a much better job than most other news outlets in no.
I'd like to see your views on all of this after doing some decent research. There's strong claims on both sides, but with all the current ongoings, I'm getting more and more pro-Israel. Yeah, I think there's an Ayla tweet that, funnily enough, is kind of mirroring my position. I hope I'm not like mind myself too much to like take a contrary position to people on the left, but I feel like the strongest argument that the left has is that Israel should have never started there in the 40s, which like maybe is like an okay, like if we go back to that time period, we might say like this is probably a bad idea, but it really does feel like past that the arguments in favor of Israeli action are so much stronger than the arguments in favor of the rest of the Arab world in that region or the Palestinians even. Like, it seems like overwhelmingly favoring one side. But I might feel differently when I start like digging into the individual conflicts. We'll see. Okay, yeah, we'll see.
Of food, collective punishment of...
What about settlers in the West Bank? I still haven't heard good rationale for why Israel like is so aggressively supporting settlers moving into the West Bank, other than just territorial expansion, which seems bad. But there might be, I would have to look at, but okay.
Punishment in the form of depriving 2.2 million people of electricity, collective punishment in the form of depriving them of water, of food, collective punishment of in the form of 51 people dying.
Oh, shit. I'm so sorry. I saw this quote in chat. And thoughts on from the river to the sea. Okay. A lot of people, I don't know if people know what this means all the time, but just so you guys have an awareness, when people are saying, when people say from the river to the sea, just so you know, if anybody's ever saying that as part of like a protest or part of a pro-Palestine movement, from river to the sea means that they want all of Israel to belong to Palestine. They want Palestine to be completely ran by the Palestinian people, and for Israel as a state to be eliminated. That's what like from the river to the sea means. Like this whole area from the Jordan River to the sea is what they want. Fuck, I should actually find out where on this fucking map the Jordan River runs, I think. But that's what from the river to the sea means. It means the complete and total elimination of Israel. Just so you know. Yes, that is exactly what that means. The literal border with the West Bank. Okay, it's this thing here. This is the. Okay, maybe this is okay. From here to the sea. So the destruction or the elimination of the state of Israel. Yeah. Okay. It's getting popular, but don't you think it's a catchphrase? If you want to say that it's a harmless catchphrase, I'm not buying that, because when somebody has like a tattoo and people are going out and saying like, well, actually in 1949, there was one Panzer Division tank that had that logo on it. So if you have this, you're actually a Nazi. No, I don't accept that's just a catchphrase. If you say from the river to the sea, you're advocating for the elimination of the state of Israel. But that's fine. If that's a position you can have. Some people think that the state of Israel should be eliminated or shouldn't exist or should all be Palestinians. But just like own it. Own that position. We can argue about that. Don't pretend that you're saying something different, you know? That's not really as controversial as what other people say it means, which is to call for a cleansing the land of Jews, essentially for a genocide. That's where I've seen the complaints. If everybody was to call for a one-state solution, it wouldn't be as controversial. Well, maybe. I'm trying to give the most charitable framing of that. The least charitable framing is from river to the sea means a Jewish genocide in the Middle East. That's like the most extreme. But I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to give the most. I don't think that a person in the West that's saying from the river to the sea, let Palestine be free, I don't think that person wants Jewish people to be genocided. So I'm trying to give them a more favorable version of it.